Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Tash and Bex Flex.
Hello.
How are you today, Tash?
I'm good, yeah.
Yeah, we're good. Anyway, actually, this is your shout, isn't it? But welcome if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on our Telegram channel or on Truth Pills. Welcome. Yeah. So over to you, Tash.
So we were going to have a guest today to talk about something a little bit more unusual than what we normally talk about. But for whatever reason, she couldn't make it today. But it's Rebecca's kind of bag anyway, let's be honest, isn't it?
Is it my bag?
It's her bag, her type of thing. So we're going to talk a little bit about, because we're talking about the chemtrails and looking up a little bit about things that you've seen in the sky, things that Rebecca, and then how that's connected to probably your sort of psychic abilities and your woo, as we call it. You see, I don't have any woo. I can't even meditate, but I'm fascinated by it, aren't I? I'm always like, I love listening to all your stuff, but I've never been able to, like, I probably do have guides. You'd probably say I do have guides.
Yeah, you do, yeah.
But I'd never know how to tap into it or how to, I just don't have that. I have a very good sixth sense.
Yeah, you do, actually. Your sixth sense is often better than mine about people.
Yeah, very good sixth sense in situations. I have very good sort of sense of feelings, but I've always wanted to see a ghost, never seen a ghost. When I was a kid, I was desperate for the aliens to come and take me up to their spaceship, and they wouldn't. So I've always been like...
Give them time.
I've always been one of those people that would have loved it. I've had ghostly experiences where I've seen things move and flickers of light and stuff, but I've never seen... I've been scared. But
You saw that thing coming off my head that time.
Oh, God, yeah. Was that here? In here?
Yeah, it was in the dining room.
Yes, that was weird, wasn't it? We were talking and I was like, whoa. Yeah, it was like almost like bubbles, but opaque rather than clear.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So I do see things like that, but I wouldn't say like, I've seen like Peg Leg Pete or something, like when people talk about ghosts. Oh yeah, Peg Leg Pete comes in, sits at the table, turns the taps off and goes again. I've never seen anything like that. But yeah, obviously your experiences are quite interesting. So UFOs then, start with that one. When was the first time something like that came your way?
I was 19 when I saw my first ship.
Wow.
Here.
Like
when I say here, I mean in the three dimensions.
So
Dimensional.
Dimensional, then that might not be something that everyone's fully aware of. So the 3D is this kind of world that we're living in now.
Yeah, this is the 3D.
And then the 4D is the loop between the 3D and the 5D.
Well, the 4D exists alongside us here in the 3D. That's how I see it. And then the 5D is above that. So we're in the third and the fourth at the moment.
So they're merging. And then will it be fourth and the fifth and then eventually fifth?
I think we're just going fifth.
So the 4 is just this transitional period, if you like.
Yeah, they're kind of existing together, but most people are only aware of the 3.
Okay.
They can't be, or not most people actually, more and more people are aware of the 4th. In that, for example, I'll give you, that I used the other day, is if, there are a lot of people that are now aware that the 2012 Olympic opening games was a spellcasting ritual.
Yes, that's a good one for males to get their
It's
heads
very
around
good
as well.
for people to get their head around.
Yeah.
So that was spellcasting. It was programming, and it was also setting the energy. In the 4th, we saw it in the 3rd as this display of. But when you looked at all the symbology, you could see we could see what they were doing.
Yeah.
So.
So is the 4th almost more horrible than the 3rd as a dimension?
It's not that it's horrible, but there's a lot of nasty shit hanging around in there. Yeah.
Right. So that's where the casting's going on and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's where all the attachments hang out. But there's good stuff too. There's elementals. There's there's lots of. It's not just bad. It's just that the entities that are trying to take over humanity
thrive in the 4th.
Do a lot in the 4th because they know that human beings are not so aware of the 4th. So we get entrapped in the 4th.
And then they get stuck.
And then we get stuck in the 3rd.
And they can't use the 5th because that's not too high for them.
Too high, yeah.
So they can't function at that level.
No, once you access the 5th in your consciousness, they can't really touch you.
Okay.
Because you're vibrating at a higher rate than
they can't tap into. It
slides off. It's like trying to, it's like oil and water.
Okay.
If you've moved into the 5th, your vibration is
and the 5th is just a consciousness, is it?
It's all consciousness actually.
So it's not a physical body.
You do have a body.
Yeah.
but it gets lighter and less heavy and dense.
So less carbon?
Yes, less
perhaps,
carbon,
yeah.
more light.
More light,
And
okay.
then when you get further up, because dimensions
They go on and on, don't they?
I think it's around the 7th, 8th that you become completely without body, but you're still aware of your being.
So is that somewhere where you'd go perhaps when you died then? Maybe.
You know, the other thing is when people say we go, everything is all
Level, it's all,
here.
yeah, it is, isn't it? It's all
So
the same.
yeah, so when you die, yeah, I guess it depends on. It's a complicated question because it depends on the origin of your soul, why you're here, what
And
your
and where you
incarnation is
vibrated
about,
at
where you're
throughout your
vibrating at, yeah. And there's people here from all over the place at the moment. So for
Here in the 3D or the 4D?
in the 3D,
In the 3D.
Here on this, yeah,
On this real physical plane?
yeah, on the physical plane right now. They've turned up for this.
Okay.
So there's lots of people from all over the place.
Ooh.
So depending on what you're about and what you're doing would depend what happens after you die.
Yeah.
Because obviously
With your
we
next
don't
journey
die.
or your next,
we don't die.
your next, whatever it is
yeah.
that you're
yeah.
going to be doing.
So
yeah.
if you're here visiting because you're helping,
It's different.
you go
to your-
home.
Okay.
If you're an earthbound soul and you've incarnated here and you're, you know, your earthly carnations, you've been incarnating here a lot because this is where your
So it keeps
home
happening
is,
again
your life
and again
is.
and again.
Yeah, then you'll go into the dimensions of where your soul goes when you're released. And also when you die, it isn't just kind of like you go to heaven or you if you've got healing work you didn't do while you were here,
You have to come back.
well, you have healing there. You
Oh,
have
okay.
a rest. Then you have a look what when you want to go back, what you want to do in your
needs to
next
be done.
life. Yeah, what you need to learn, how you want to do that. So we have a lot of say in our lives here, a lot more than people realise.
People don't realise that, do they?
No.
At all? No.
No.
No, they don't. There's obviously, I think a lot of people question the purpose of us being here, but they'd never delve into what it's truly about, do they?
Well, no, and it's all hidden from us anyway.
Yeah, of course.
We're really heavily programmed not to know what we're really about.
Why we're here, and
Yeah,
what we're really about,
what
and
we're really about.
what powers, well, not powers is probably the wrong word, but what abilities we have.
We have amazing abilities.
Yeah, and it's all been dumbed down and,
Yeah.
and you know, turned into this, like you say, a very 3D way
Yeah.
of thinking and feeling and
Yeah.
existing, really, isn't it? Yeah. Right, so back to the UFOs.
Oh yeah, so the first one was 19. I was with my friend Steve.
Yep.
Hello Steve if you're watching. And it was June, so it was midsummer. We'd gone out for a walk in the evening, so it was about 7 o'clock at night, and we were in fields in Hambledon, which is quite near I think
Military
that's
thing,
quite
is it?
military, yeah. So I still to this day not sure if that wasn't a military ship actually, because the ones I've seen since have been different.
Okay.
But anyway, we're in this field, had a little river running through it and a tree, and we lay on the ground and we were just looking up. You know how you just lie
Yep.
there, and
Isn't it looking for shooting stars normally, isn't it, when you're young?
Well, it was light. Oh,
it's daytime or
it was
early
day-
evening.
It was early evening,
Ah,
so
okay.
it's still light. And I don't know when it arrived. I didn't see it arrive. I just suddenly realised I was looking at it. It's a really weird thing. And a bit like in a dream, you know, where you suddenly
Ooh,
realise
become
I'm here and you don't
conscious,
think, how did I get here? Anyway, so I realised I was looking at directly underneath a ship, silver disc, with two
exhausts or whatever you want to call them.
no, just
two, like,
two one
extra
se-
bodies.
No, just it was one thing, but from underneath it obviously had a lip. Do
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there was a thing around the outside and there was a bit in the middle.
Bit, yeah.
So absolutely classic flying saucer sort of shape. Silver,
So solid or hologram?
solid. That one was solid. And we lay there for a bit, and then I lifted my head up and there was a baby deer by the tree, and I looked at it and it looked at me, and in the end I put my head back down because my neck was hurting, and I looked again and it had gone. And there was nowhere for it to hide or anything.
So it was open fields.
Yeah. Then eventually I got bored of looking at it. So I just said to Steve, can you see that? And he said yes. And that was the only
was it.
conversation we had about it. And then after a bit I got up and I said, I'm really hungry. So we got back in the van and we drove to Pizza Hut and we ate pizza. We never discussed it.
Never discussed it again.
Nope. And
Wow.
then years later somebody rang me because they'd been driving home and they saw 3 lights in the sky, so they'd got out of their car and then they had lost some time, found themselves back in the car further up the road, and had gone home and rang me and said, "Oh my God,
Something's happened."
Yeah, and as I was talking to this guy about it, I suddenly remembered that
Your ship.
Yeah, and I immediately phoned Steve afterwards, and I said, that day, I said, I never actually said. I said, "Can you see that?" I
You
could have
said
been
what?
referring to anything.
The deer.
Yes. So I said to him, "What did you see?" And he said, "Oh, I saw a spaceship." I said, "That's fine. Just wanted to
Making
check."
sure.
I
Yeah.
said, "Don't you think it's weird? We've never discussed it." It was like it was taken out of my mind.
Yeah.
And then years later, I was told that deers and owls are what they shapeshift into to watch you.
Excuse that noise. That's Henry
It's
in
Henry
the sun.
panting.
Trying
Yeah.
to dog.
So
So they shapeshift into deers and owls.
Yeah.
And what's they? What,
Whoever
is that
was on
certain
that-
type?
on that.
Is it a certain type of thing that shapeshift into owls and
Well, again, you see, I think they're greys that do that
greys?
because I've seen other beings.
Or are they those ones with the skinny?
Yeah.
Are they
big
nice or
eyes.
good?
I don't like greys very
No.
much, no. They're like ants. They don't have a soul. They work in
Oh, they're
teams.
workers.
They're workers.
Yeah.
But they don't have...
Empathy and
Yeah,
souls and
yeah.
stuff like that. So
They're
they're
just-
a bit like lots of people that wander around the streets in humanity then.
Yeah, exactly.
Those types of people.
Yeah. And also, I still feel that was a different ship to the ones that I've seen since. I wonder if it was military. I think it was a
Was it grey? Is it grey,
it
like
was
silver grey?
Yeah,
Silver.
silver.
Grey.
And all the other ships I've seen
Light.
are light.
Yeah.
Made of light.
Yeah, so like the one that my son Solly saw that
Yeah.
I showed you the pictures
Yeah.
was literally on, is it Christmas Eve or
I'm
New
not
Year's
even
Eve?
sure that those are the ships. I think they're the beings in the ship.
And it was
they're
amazing,
coming
wasn't it?
down
They
and
were,
look.
he just took it was in Totnes High Street and I think it was New Year's Eve or something like that and it was about,
It was last year, wasn't
yeah,
it?
no,
Was
it was
last year?
Christmassy time.
Was it?
And the streets were completely empty and it was just this little pretty light. It sort of flickered and changed colour a little bit, didn't it? But then it danced. It's like he was trying to catch it on the camera and it would come like that and then it would go and flirt
Yeah.
around and then come back. Almost like a fairy, like when you were a kid, how you imagined a fairy, like
Yes,
Tinkerbell to be.
yes.
Moved very like that, very
Yeah.
flirty and
Yeah.
pretty and...
Because they're interacting with you. So
Yes,
when you're
yeah, it
trying
was
to
like
film
that.
them,
They go, "Woo!"
They go,
Yeah.
Hi.
So have you seen those types of things?
Well, I think those are yes, I mean, I have.
Yeah.
But I think they are, because I believe the lightships are actually made up of the beings.
Energy all together.
Yes. So so one can just come off and come down and have a little looky.
see.
Go, "Oh, there's Solly, let's say hi to Solly," or whatever,
And what are they? They're energy.
They're beings, yeah.
Like energy beings, like soul.
Well, we're
soul-y
energy
things.
beings as well, but
They're
they're
light.
just out of their body. Yeah, they're light.
They're light rather than
Yeah.
that you can't physically
I
tame them. Do you think? Do you think you could touch?
don't know. It'd be nice to try.
Just would your hand go through, or I just wonder like,
Um,
I wonder if you'd feel like something from it.
oh, you would feel them, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you could put your hand through. You probably could.
Yeah.
But I don't think they'd let you.
No, they're always high anyway, aren't
Yeah. They don't
don't
like
come
being
right
touched,
down, no.
But and then the ships, which are big, the big light ships, when I see them here, because I see them in meditation and journey as well, but when I see them here, they're compressed. When I see them in journeys, they're massive.
That's interesting.
Yeah. When I see them here, they're like...
But is that because it's a different dimension?
Yeah. I
So
think
your things are
the
different, aren't they?
heaviness of the atmosphere
It's-
here
yeah.
crushes them.
Similar
up.
to like the whole Tartarian thing, they reckon the atmosphere was different and that's why
Yeah.
everything was bigger because all
Yeah.
the fruit and veg were bigger,
Yeah.
everything was bigger,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah,
And
massive.
it's to do with the amount of oxygen, I think.
Oh, and also how in tune they were with
The ether
the
and
planet
everything,
and
and yeah,
everything.
and
So
with
they had much more of a relationship with plants
Yeah.
and animals than we do right now.
Aurora.
So yeah, so that was the first one when I was 19, and then yeah, I mean these days I'm seeing more and more and more,
Are you?
and I think they're showing themselves to everybody now. I think they're preparing everybody for
Or something.
reveal,
A reveal, for the big reveal.
the big reveal. Yeah.
Hello, you.
So I think that it's being done purposefully because my thing is that what I believe is that they're here all the time, but we can't see
They
them.
like veil.
Yeah, they veil.
They,
And I think that day when me and Steve were lying on the ground looking
at you.
up, they just removed the veil. That's why I didn't
Yeah.
see it arrive.
Or do you think some people can see the veil off a bit like some people can see spirit and ghost? I think a similar thing. Some people have got the ability to
Yeah.
tap into that, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen anything like that at all. And I've looked. I'm one of those people, show me something, and I've never seen anything like that at all. And I do wonder if it is an ability, like a consciousness or a state that
Sixth
certain
sense or
people can get
something.
into.
I don't know. I mean, I've been with people when I've seen them.
And they've seen them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like it's just you.
No,
No.
I mean, I have seen them on my own, but
Yeah.
I've seen them, yeah.
Yeah, so it's
with other people, which I'm so relieved about, because otherwise when things happen in front of people, I love it.
yes,
Because it helps me
Yeah.
to be, because otherwise you just feel like everyone thinks you're, Billy Bullshitter, and you just have these weird fantasies or something. So when someone's with you and sees it...
Especially, I mean, people have opened up a lot more to it now. Recently there's been a big awakening to that type of thing, but, 20, 30 years ago, people would have said you were batshit crazy if you'd said all that.
I kept it quiet for years.
So you wouldn't have done what we're doing now.
Oh, God, no. No.
Absolutely not.
I don't care now, because I know it's soon.
Yeah, okay, you've got that sense that it's...
And in 2020, when all this kicked off, my guide nagged me to do to start talking out.
Yes, that's why you started doing it, wasn't it?
And it took me 6 months. I was like, I don't want to do it, and then I realised, I have to do it. And so that was, I think, November of 2020, I started talking about stuff. And then I talked mainly about my healing and things like the healing side of it, and also just trying to help people, because nobody knew what was going on. But actually, the timing is perfect, really. I think even 2 or 3 years before wouldn't have been right.
Wouldn't have been right, so the timing's right. So when you say, like, you seen ships when you journey or meditate, what do you mean exactly by journeying? Is that something that you do with your guides? Or is it something...
Yeah, it's just something... Yeah.
And
I learned shamanic journeying, but I realised that I'd been journeying anyway.
Yes, naturally.
You
just thought you were dreaming, or...
I call it going in.
What did you call it before you knew what it was?
Going in.
Ah, weird. So you knew it was something.
Yeah, I've been doing it since I was a child. Oh, wow. But I just thought I was just like this...
Like awake daydreaming, but going sort of into...
Yeah. So
in those sort of episodes where you're journeying, do you journey to a different dimension? Yeah. So when you see anything like ships or anything like that, you're seeing what you see here, but through different eyes.
Yes, exactly it. Because here we've got our 5 senses.
Yeah.
That's it. There's a load more stuff going on. We don't have the equipment to pick it up.
Right. But when you journey,
I'm journeying, I'm in a different body.
In a state, I suppose, as well. A different sort of
consciousness.
Yeah. So you've done it for me before, so I know you can do it. So you can actually journey for other people as well, and you can kind of help them with perhaps any attachments or any... I think quite commonly people carry stuff from when they were very, very, very young, so they don't have a memory of it, yet that still affects their day-to-day life that they're living. Yeah. And you can journey and find out what those issues might be, and then you will physically feel what they went through, and then you can talk them through it and try and explain a little bit. So it's also a form of healing, isn't it? Yeah.
And really what I'm doing is going back down that person's timeline.
Yeah.
And sometimes it goes beyond this life as well. Sometimes the timeline is in a different life. Yeah, going to past life, because they might have a trauma that's unresolved from a past life. Excuse me. So sometimes it's that. But
Henry.
These days, since 2015, 2016, most of my healing work is trauma work, like you're talking about.
Yep.
Or removing attachments and dark
I
energy.
had an attachment, didn't I?
Yeah.
Guess where my attachment was. Guess where my attachment... What part of the body would my attachment be?
I can't... Well,
just the fanny area, wasn't it? Just right in the pubic bit. And apparently I've been there since...
Baby.
Since I was a baby. Or no,
in utero.
In utero. So yeah. I think my mother probably gave it to me. It's very kind of her, isn't it? And it was like a cross between a bat and a vampire, and he was really cheeky, and he was hanging upside down in my pelvis, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And at that time...
With his head sticking out.
Nee, like that, wasn't he? You said he was really cheeky.
Yeah, really cheeky.
Like a real cheeky one.
Yeah.
And, I mean... I do have problems in that area anyway, but why I wanted you to do the journey for me was I was having those awful things where I was waking up petrified at night, and it did stop all that. I was getting those weird, like...
Night terrors, it's like night terrors.
Yeah, I was getting night terrors, basically.
Yeah.
And, and you found that cheeky little devil, but that was all you found, wasn't it? And immense sadness. You were crying, weren't you? There was a lot of sadness in there.
And people always think, oh, don't be... But I'm not, it's not my...
No, it's my tears.
It's yours. It's like channeling. It's like channeling.
Channeling,
and as soon as it stops and goes away.
You're just, it's like I said, when you do the journey, it's like you feel whatever it is that people have gone through.
Yeah.
You physically feel it.
Yeah.
So it could be emotion, or it could be a pain in the body, or something like that.
Yeah.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
I love it. I wish I could do all that.
And I come back really hungry as well.
Well, yeah, you've expelled a lot of energy.
Yeah, really hungry. But I love it. I love the work that I do.
That's
love
fascinating stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you've been sort of called up to do work by your guides as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
So you might have
I get put on jobs.
specific jobs. Do you want to talk about any of those jobs?
Don't mind, yeah.
Have you had any in Brookston?
Yeah,
Jobs
you
to
know
do?
you know I have.
I know she has. So, but first of all, start off with, it's an Alistair Crowley type thing, isn't
Yeah,
it?
but I didn't know that.
And we didn't know that he had a connection.
No.
We didn't know that he had a connection to this area.
I had no idea. Because I asked them afterwards, why didn't you tell me? And they said, if we'd have told you, you would have been scared.
Yeah.
So they don't tell me necessarily what I'm getting involved with beforehand.
So he basically had a house, a holiday home in Torquay, didn't he?
He had he lived there.
He lived there, so he lived in Torquay.
He moved down at the beginning of the war.
Right.
And had a big house in Torquay, big gardens and everything. But I didn't know any of that. What I got alerted to was somebody that I knew moved into a house. There was a lot of weird goings on, and she had a massive psychic attack, which I helped her with, and then she stopped speaking to me.
Oh yeah,
which does sometimes happen because
it's too much.
Well, no, what happens is the entity that's with her will get rid of anybody that can help her.
Oh, so she'll get into us. Think
so sometimes
negatively.
I get removed because it's part of if I say, look, that's not true, you're being you're manipulating because
rather than
they're trying to keep you away from me. They think that I'm just saying that, so they usually ignore it. But that's what happened. So I did write to her and I did warn her, and I said, there's something in your house, and I found a dark portal. Well, that's what my guide said. There's a dark portal in the house. So I had to journey and close this portal. It's the first one that I'd ever done. This is back in...
And it was terrifying, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's only twice I felt that I was going to die, and that was one of the times. Because I turned up, and it's stupid. I turned up at night to do it and all this sort of stuff. And I had my helpers with me, but when I turned up, this person was standing there and there were 3 hooded figures with him, and I suddenly got this feeling of dread. And one of my guys said, they're going to push you in, and they just removed me because they were going to push me into the portal, and once I'd gone in, it would have
gone to somewhere else.
Well, I would have passed away probably, but
passed away in the real life.
Yes.
So your heart and everything would have stopped.
I think so.
Right.
So anyway, so I said that's the only time I've ever run away from a job as well. So I said I don't want to do it, and this was in August, and it took me to November to go again.
And you did this solely on your own?
Yes. They said, no, you have to do it. So in the November, I did it, but I did it in day. And it was bright sunshine. So I did it in daytime.
Right.
And I went back and that time I managed it. There was nobody there. They weren't expecting me, this sort of thing. And I closed that portal. And then and then I met another woman who came to me for help. And when I went round to her house, it was very close to this original house, and that one when I looked out of her garden, I was looking right down onto the Masonic Lodge in the town, and I suddenly thought, well, I got instructions to do work from her house to do it from there. So then I did that, and that was a whole load of, I can only describe it as a kind of weird. It had a brain. It had a consciousness.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying yes.
And then it had all these things
Tentacly,
coming out of it.
Trendles. Like,
yeah.
Is it trying to wrap around stuff?
Yeah.
You.
Just buildings. It went up Bolton Street. It was, and also where I live is like a valley like that. So it was collecting, all this energy. It was disgusting. Anyway, so I did that, and it was after I'd done that they told me that I just removed all this stuff that Crowley had put down.
Ooh.
Yeah, and but that whole job from start to finish took me nearly 2 years.
Yes, I remember you telling me about it.
Yeah.
Because interestingly, my dad had a house in that area.
Yeah.
Rocklands Terrace.
Yeah.
Which it's on the same ley line,
Yeah.
I think, as the Masonic Lodge. You
Yeah.
can see it from it, can't you?
Yeah.
It's that same area. And it was a witchcraft house before. Nobody would buy it. And when my dad got it, there was weird stuff everywhere. All satanic stuff drawn on all the walls and everything like that. Lots of stuff painted red and little like wicker things.
Yes, they were. What are they called?
Little like wicker. They're called wicker men or something. I don't know what they're called.
And the balls.
Yeah, they were just like things. And yeah, and I just said to you, oh my God, that's interesting that my dad had the house. He just redecorated it all. I don't know if there was any other.
Well, what I discovered was that Crowley lived in Torquay and he used to come over here a lot. And he worked in that first house with the dark portal. That was just spewing out shit all the time.
And that was in
anything
that same area.
that wanted to come through, all in the same, really close proximity geographically. But then, he lived here through the war, and then I think he went off. But yeah, I had to, the last bit of it, I had to go over to Torquay and do some stuff over there as well.
Is that physically or in the journey?
Was in another journey. So there were many journeys. It was like taking it down in pieces, and it was only at the end
that they
said, this is Crowley's work. And also the woman the second woman whose house I used to do this, she is also does similar work to me, and she said that she and another lady had helped Crowley to pass over, because sometimes when you die and you're very much a person like that, and everybody's using your work and all the dark people, you're kind of kept here.
And the portals are still going to be open, aren't they?
So you need to move on. So he was also moved on.
So that was a good release as well for everything.
And all this darkness was taken down that was here and gone. And so part of the work that a lot of people are doing at the moment, whether they're aware of it or not, is moving a lot of the dark spells that have been put down
spell casting
in the past. Undoing those spells.
Just kind of what you were doing.
Yeah.
At a very, very deep level, obviously, compared to,
But
fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, there's only been a couple of times I thought my life was in danger, and that was one of them.
I'm not surprised, considering what you were actually dealing with.
And had I known it was Crowley, I probably would have been more scared.
And you probably would have been a much harder thing to have done, wouldn't it? You'd have been putting it off a lot more.
I googled it, because my guys tell me something, I always Google it now. And I'm just always like, wow.
Yeah, because I had no idea there was a Torquay connection,
no,
and a Brixham connection, and it's all out there to see, isn't it? It's all fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
So that's that. So what's your views on possible hybrids then of people from different dimensions?
Oh, God.
Perhaps mingling with.
Yes, there's people here from all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you think some of them are hybrids where they've interacted with humans and we have a.
Yes.
So that brings me on to a lady in America who I talked to. She's a really interesting lady. Yeah. She was a biologist. She's a grandma, so she's, of an age. She's not a young person. She's retired, and she did a lot of statistical work as well. A lot of her work was, so she sort of said it herself, she was
left brain.
And quite indoctrinated, she was a biologist, that was her work. She was, very into all that. And I think it was in, let's have a look, 2015, she started informally investigating the transgender thing.
Yeah.
And what she thought, she was completely convinced it was all to do with, the Q angles, the jawline, the curvy back, the waistlines, the foot size, and all that sort of stuff. So convinced that most of the people in power were reverse gender. And then she started looking at the skull overlays, which I've showed on a few other things. Yeah. We've sort of gone into
If anybody hasn't seen them, it's have a look back at.
And she is a biologist, so she said she found the ones that she felt, the skull overlays, that were true. She believes that they work properly. And what she realised is that all the transgender looking people, both the males and the female, all favoured the female face.
Skull.
So even Michelle Obama, all the ones where they quite clearly look very masculine have these female skulls. So it's that thing, are they making us want to think they're transgendered? Are they wanting us to think they're male? Is it a hidden thing? Not quite sure. But then she looked into all the CEOs of all the big American companies, and both the husbands and the wives both have female skulls. So everyone in any form of power, and she did the pastors, whatever they're called, the church people.
Yeah.
They all had female skulls, the males and the females, and whoever they were married to. So everyone favoured this female skull. So then she did a control study. So she took pictures of people who had passed away, of the obituaries, just because she felt that was the best way to do it, so there's no connection to anything. And 90% was accurate. So the males all had male skulls, the females all had female skulls. There was a small anomaly, but it was very, very small.
Yeah.
And it wasn't so much, it was more ambiguous. There could have been both. It wasn't do you know what I mean? It was just a slight ambiguous thing. And then she did The firemen, again, very male people, completely had the male skull. So she had a really good sort of statistical sort of way of looking at it. Yeah. So what she then, so she realised that, so one of her things here is most people in influential and powerful positions favour the female skulls. Most people in the general population do not. So that's definitely what she found out. And she also understood that the biomarkers she still looked for, and yes, the females who looked very male still all favoured these male biomarkers. Right. So that's quite interesting in itself. So
what does that make you conclude then? It makes you conclude that
there's something else.
Yeah. There are people that are inverted.
Yeah.
And there are also this sort of hybrid beings that
so what
that
she
don't fit into either category.
That don't fit into either. So she came up with so this is the face of Seraphim. There's Seraphim there.
The angel.
So that angel basically was discovered in the Hagia Sophia in Turkey, and they're basically angels who are closest to the heavenly throne, absolute closest. Unless they are among the fallen ones, and then they're known as the Nephilim. So the fallen angels. So basically, the Nephilim are a hybrid of the sons of God and the daughters of men, and that's Genesis 9. Or I don't understand the Bible or anything, but it's connected to that. So it's a Genesis thing. So basically, so they say the sons of God, so the fallen sons of God, I would say, and the daughters of men. So that is the little face there. So she's only done a few and she hasn't done any control yet, and we will update if she does do anything. So she did.
But it makes sense to me because I believe and I'm aware that there are people here from all over the place, right, all over the universe, incarnated right now. And obviously there are people of, soul bound to earth, but there's also these hybrids, and then you've also got the dark hybrids, and I feel like what's happening at the moment is actually a battle between the two hybrids.
Yeah, and we're just collateral damage almost. Yeah, we're sort of in the middle.
Yeah.
So I thought as well, I'd better look at what this this place is called, the Sophia.
In
the
Greece.
Hagia Sophia. So it's in Turkey. So I looked at it.
Turkey.
There's a picture of it there, and it's very, very beautiful building, very Tartarian.
Very yeah.
Very mosque looking, as to how we believe that mosques are sort of meant to be about.
Yeah.
So I just thought I'd sort of look into it a bit. Oh, that's all in Greek. I can't understand that bit. Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
I can't find my little bit of notes. Yeah, sorry, I'm going to put him up in a minute. So basically, it was an antique place of worship in Istanbul. It was designed by the Greeks, and it was built in 537, and it was a patriarchal cathedral of the imperial capital of Constantinople, and it was the largest Christian church of the Eastern Roman Empire. And then in 1454, which was after the fall of the Constantinople to the Ottoman Empire, it was converted into a mosque, which is interesting, isn't it? And then in 1935, the Republic of Turkey established it as a museum. However, in 2020, which is very recent, it was reconverted back into a mosque. So it's obviously a place of great history, and in its time, it would have been the biggest and most important building in the whole world. I would have thought that type of thing. So that's where this...
And probably be built on a power spot as well.
It's got tons of underground stuff in it. And it's believed that that Lucifer, there's a connection to Lucifer there being trapped underneath there, which is sort of, all kind of interesting.
Brilliant. Yeah.
So, Mark Zuckerberg, normal face there, we've got there, okay? And then we try him with the male skull, and you can see there that the eyes don't fit. And then we put a female skull on him, and that fits in quite nicely. And then what Mary decided to do
is put the Nephilim.
Is to put the Nephilim over, and look at that. That fits him like
a glove
perfectly. Whereas you wouldn't initially look at him and think he looks like a Nephilim or a fallen angel or an angel, because they obviously all look quite similar.
It's like a dick to me.
Yeah, he's disgusting. And then the other one they did was this lady, Sophia. Yes. Now look at her for a start. That isn't male and that isn't female.
Yeah, she's very weird looking anyway. I think.
She was in The Mummy, and look at all everything that they did in The Mummy. It's all very much,
Yeah, I did.
you know,
yeah.
the stuff that they did. So you put a female skull on her, and it works perfectly. So she's another one of these beings that fits the female skull. And if you put the male skull on her, it really doesn't fit. However, she's very masculine. But I don't think either male or female. I just think, look at her again. Him, whatever it is. Very bizarre. And again, she beautifully
Fits the Nephilim.
Overlay, like just everything, the portions of the face and everything. So I found her work very, very interesting. I've said to this lady, could she do them on some control subjects like she did the others, just to see whether there is any
Nephilim.
similarity, or to see whether the general population do not fit into that shape at all.
That's
I
good,
don't think they will.
Yeah.
For some reason. Actually, I could probably try and do the overlay and try and do it over our faces.
Yeah, give it a go.
We'll try and do that, can't we? Yeah, because you just merge it. I've got the Nephilim face there. So basically, you get a picture of me, a picture of you, and then you fade and overlay it over the top. So should we do that later?
Yeah, let's do the Nephilim.
Then we'll put them on our channel.
Yes.
See what we look like. Yeah. So that's the other thing I was going to ask you. Do you feel that these entities that are living are possibly something
Yes,
like these Nephilims?
definitely.
Yeah. And basically,
and in journeys, I've seen beings from other places.
from other places. Yeah.
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 So I know that.
And
I think it's actually quite cocky to think that we are the most intelligent beings in this.
oh god, yeah.
We are so stupid. It's
Yeah.
not even funny.
No.
And you know, I've seen all sorts of weird and wonderful beings, human.
And these are not
but
good, obviously. These ones are not good though.
Well, no, but
These
I
fallen
think you get
angels.
both. I think you get both.
So there could be both the Nephilim and the Sephilim.
Yeah.
Both. Yeah.
Because Nephilim are the angelic, and the Nephilim are the ones that have fallen.
And the fallen ones, they do also describe reptilian.
Yes.
That's the word reptilian that they use. So
Yes,
when
yeah.
people say reptilians are in control of the world and blah, blah, blah,
But
blah.
we've all got a bit of reptilian brain. It's just your lower. It's your lower brain. It's your lower.
It's the innate behaviour, isn't it?
Yes.
It's,
Yeah.
the functioning
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like a reptile. Think about a reptile. They
Yeah.
quite weird, aren't
And
they?
you know, they're just not.
Yeah, so it looks like all the people in power, all, whether they're male or female, all favour the female skull.
They're all put in place.
Yes, so even though we may be led to believe they're transgendered.
Yeah, because you were saying maybe the transgender thing is actually designed to cover up.
Yeah,
the
that is it.
So that
And
we
I think
go,
they
"Oh, well, let
transgender
this go
lower
in."
down, perhaps. So like at lower music level and stuff like that. But anyone from like probably Beyonce, because she did Beyonce and everyone, they've all got female skulls. Jennifer Lopez, they haven't got male skulls. So they've got male biomarkers, but their skulls are female. So that level, they're probably very put there for a reason. And but sort of below that level,
Probably
they probably
inverted.
are, and being used to do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's horrible, really. They probably
Being
don't have
inverted
much choice.
in
yeah.
satanic rituals.
So it opens up another whole thing about this transvestigation or whatever you want to call it.
Bearing in mind that this is the realm of polarity as well.
Yes.
So you know, even the two sexes.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like everywhere else. It sounds a bit weird, but you don't have.
And have the polarity.
No, you don't have the polarity. You do have different genders, but it's
different. Is
well,
it
you
more
don't-
fluid?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I would
It's
imagine.
very fluid, and
yeah.
and instead of like here, if you want to be with someone, you have a shag, don't you?
Yeah, whereas you can do it cosmically.
Well, just merge.
So is that what when people go on about tantric sex then?
Yeah.
That's what it is, isn't it? 'Cause-
Energy,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Right, where are we? 38 minutes.
Ooh,
Probably.
yeah.
That's about right,
We
isn't
should
it?
probably bugger off
Yes.
and leave you with all of that weirdness to blow your minds for the weekend.
I think it's fascinating stuff, personally.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's
Yeah.
really, and it's good to talk about it. You shouldn't not be able to express yourself. You know?
Well, you know,
Like you say, the time is now.
the time is now.
Yeah.
I really believe that these things are going to come out very soon anyway.
You do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to become very obvious. I think they're showing themselves more and more. More and more people are seeing
Show
them.
it to me. I want to see you.
Well, I'd have to hang out
I've only been
somewhere.
trying all my life, and you've never come to do experiments on me.
Well, to be honest with you, you might have... Oh, you don't sleep, do you?
No.
Because dreams as well. I have dreams where I'm on the ships and things like that. So I think they can start off, and if you're having dreams about being on ships...
Oh, it's
Will! Go away!
declined.
Yeah, if you're having dreams or you're seeing it in meditation, you're already
there.
being shut. Yeah, you're already there. So that's the first way normally that you.
And of course, when I do sleep, because I'm a weird insomniac, like I've never slept ever since I was a child. I only sleep if I'm given tranquilizers, and of course you don't dream when you have tranquilizers.
I wonder how you manage. I mean, that's why I'm always saying, I think you are Starseed, Tasha, because you don't sleep.
Or something. I don't know about Starseed.
You're
weird.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like you look around at people, and some people are just bog standard human beings, and other people
for whatever
have
it may
got weird
be,
abilities.
Yeah, and also when I do sleep, when I am, I'll do a few months at a time. I will do a few months at a time. I will get drugged myself because it's the only way to. It's not so much that I get very bored, very very boring being awake all the time, and everyone's asleep, and I'm like, oh, and it's dark. And it's quite soul destroying.
Can't really do anything.
Yeah, and it's just weird. And I just I'm sort of do a lot of breathing exercises, and I think, this is so boring. I should maybe try and journey or something.
Yeah, I'll try and
try and teach me. Yeah, she can teach me to journey, and then I can use it. But so when I do take the drugs, I feel so much worse than people would think that I'd feel dreadful not sleeping, but
it's the
opposite. I haven't been sleeping recently, and I feel so much better.
Know. You said to me the other morning, I feel great. I haven't slept. I feel great.
So so it is weird, isn't it? Very very weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going over.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going. Yeah. We must rush off.
Yes.
Anyway, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.